All right, man, Twitter Talk. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. You know what I'm saying? All right, man, how y'all doing? I hope everybody's good, man. This is Torture Talk. If you're new here, this is Torture Talk. I know a lot of y'all probably heard about me. The guy who wears the crown and the shades, the king of the north is here. Yes, I am the Night King. You know what I'm saying? This is Torture Talk. So look, today's episode, we're going to be talking about Drake and all of the inner turmoils that he has with himself being a mixed kid, and probably this is why he is who he is today. So before we get into that, you know, I got to get a legendary spill. This is Torture Talk. If you like the content, please consider subscribing. If you're new here, let me work for your subscription today. All the beautiful, single, sexy ladies, put one in the chat. All the fellas, y'all know where to find the ones that just don't harass them. I don't sell no merch, but I do have content. Absolutely free. But if you want to leave a donation, link is in the description. Cash App, no more PayPal. They call me the Hidden Gem. I went from 1,300 subscribers over 13, 14, 15, 16, and yes, 17,000. And I am the King of the North, the Night King. Let me know what kingdom you from. Shout out to the homie from Baltimore, the Kingdom of Baltimore. He sent a nice donation. I appreciate you. You know what I mean? Shout out to people from El Segundo. Shout out to people from all over the world. You know what I'm saying? South Africa in the house. You know what I mean? Thank you for everybody donating to me. I appreciate y'all. So look, man, let's get into it, man. And I'll see y'all right back here in 1 second. I don't know why I said that. Had a brain freeze. All right, man. You know, sometimes when you when you say something all the time and then when you try to switch it up a little bit, trying to be fancy and you mess up, that's what happened with me. I'll be trying to be fancy with the intro. Like, yeah, I'm gonna switch it up a little bit. Nah, nigga, keep it the way it is, nigga. Stop trying to switch up. So, all right, man, look, we're gonna get into this video, man. You know what I'm saying? So let's get it, man.
Drake, a man who's seemingly addicted to being number one, and has spent almost 20 years to build his persona, and the achievements that come with it. A rapper at the top of the game, the MJ of his era, as he would say. But this unstoppable image has now seemed to be shattered to shambles. Was it the culture vulture claims, the hidden child fiasco, or the dark allegations? The truth is, this downfall wasn't overnight, but was rather a series of small incremental moments, death by 1,000 cuts. Let's talk about it. Drake has always been an outcast. If you followed his career,
I definitely understand where he's coming from. But the thing is, people got to understand, everybody, especially in hip hop, if you think about the history of hip hop, everybody had the fall off point. Sometimes they fell off through unseen circumstances. Something happened to where it was very, very detrimental. But every hip hop artist in history had their fall off moment. The reason why, to me, Drake's is so much bigger is because he was looked at as the good boy when he first came. He was looked at as he's unstoppable. There's no way he can ever take a L. When he battled Kendrick, it was more on the lines of, it's a lot of missteps that he made up into that battle. One of the biggest missteps, in my opinion, was the fact that he took Kendrick for granted. He underestimated Kendrick. And I think that he thought that he was so big that nobody's still hungry enough to actually take his spot and keep it, because he was so arrogant. He was so arrogant. Drake was so arrogant about where he stood at in the game. And that happens to you. You live long enough to see yourself become the villain, and that's what happened with Drake, in my opinion. Let's keep it going.
From the beginning, and aren't a Gen Z glazer who just started hating bro like a week ago, you know very well he's faced lack of acceptance all his life. By now we all know bro's origin story, more like a villain arc the way he's perceived these days. But Drake grew up in a predominantly Jewish upbringing, which would make him stand out, as he was half black, half Jewish.
I just always felt like an outsider. I went, when I was in Forest Hill, you know, it was an all Jewish school, like, and just being biracial, but still being Jewish, so I was like kind of connected to the kids, but like sort of distant. And when kids are young, they don't necessarily comprehend everything.
Right.
So it can get a little cruel and a little mean.
You get teased a lot?
Yeah. I mean, I got it, you know. I got
I don't think so. I think he's clearly lying about this. I don't think that, and y'all might think that I'm tripping for saying this. I don't think Drake got teased when he was a kid. I don't. I think Drake got celebrated when he was a kid. I think a lot of those kids, knowing where he was at. Now, don't get me wrong. There might have been a couple, but I think for the most part, nah. I think it's a little bit different for a mixed kid being in the school versus a black kid being in the school. Now, if he was black and he went to a Jewish school, that to me that'd be something. Now, I want to say this because I think a lot of people are hypocrites, and I would partake in this too. I would say that I was being a little hypocritical too about certain things. But when we say Drake is black, right? Most people nowadays are using mixed race as separating the two, or saying he's a mixed kid. Before, when I was growing up, at least when I was growing up, if you had a drop of black blood in you, you were black. That was it. It didn't matter if you was any other ethnicity. I knew this girl, she was half Chinese and half black. And everybody said she was black. Because that's what it is. And people say that because the black gene is supposed to be the most dominant gene. But you know, the crazy thing is, I know some mixed kids who look more white now. And I don't know why that is, but so it really might be a little more to this whole thing than we said, but I don't really care for that anymore. I don't care whether a person is mixed or not, because down the line somewhere, we all mix somewhere down the line. You know what I'm saying? So let's keep it going.
He failed to earn the acceptance of his peers as he wasn't white enough. Skip forward as he enters the game and he's not black enough. This would plant the seed for what would inevitably destroy him, as this was a deep cut. And the deeper the cut, the harder to stop the bleeding. Because Drake never really had an identity, his music would take on a similar pattern. As Drake is talented enough and versatile enough to copy pretty much any style, even styles from different cities and countries. But where this would help him immensely on the charts and sales, it would also hurt him, as many see this as a form of culture appropriation. And this is where the culture vulture stamp will be placed on Drake.
It's just I see in Drake's spirit and in his body language where he's still, there's pain and there's like a...
Well, because people go, hey, yo, man, you stole Afrobeat.
I mean, I tried to big him up with dancehall. I told him he opened the door for dancehall, Drake, you know what I'm saying? And everybody went crazy.
Make a song with Rihanna, bro's Caribbean and eating oxtail. Make a song with Giggs, bro's talking like Harry Potter. Make a song with 21 Savage, bro got more shooters than Golden State.
Like, he's just a corny dude. In that new Headlines video, he looks...
Now, I'm going to throw Drake some bail on this one. Drake is a template of what an artist, everybody puts into an artist. He's just a figurehead. I think our problem lies in the fact that he got away with all this without being checked. And I think a lot of reasons why is because he was so big. People was excited to do something with him because they thought that it was instant success when they did something with Drake. And I think a lot of rappers, when Drake became popular, a lot of rappers didn't have that mind state of keeping it real hip hop. A lot of rappers at that time was just trying to make it. They didn't care. And they looked at it like, well, forget all that. I got Drake on the song. That's how they looked at it. And it was that whole thing with the stimulus package. So, but I think that if we would have checked Drake from years ago, he probably would have been a little bit different artist than he is today. But the moves that he made put him in the position he's in today. And some of those moves were detrimental to his career. And people might not see it, but it definitely was. I mean, sometimes you can get big and you can't keep that same energy going. And that's what happens.
Extra corny. It's like, Drake, why are you thugging now? Why are you dressed all in black? Why you got on black gloves? Why you got a whole bunch of dudes around you dressed in black? And he has the most non-threatening looking goons I've ever seen in my life. Like, seriously, like they look like a flash mob that's about to run up in H&M and take everything.
Honestly, if you guys want to look in my eyes, you guys want to do something? That's what I thought. No, that's what I thought.
Drake being judged for...
You see what I mean? And this right here to me is, this is all a combination of what we have showed him, and he took, and when they say appropriated, all the stereotypes from the black community, Drake took it on and became a living form of that, if that makes sense. He took on all of these stereotypical things that black people do and say, and he became a living meme of that.
His ability to emulate others would become somewhat ironic, as he would later face what might be his deepest cut. Rap, unlike other genres, is scaled heavily on said rapper's ability to write engaging bars. The pen is king. While most haters will refute this, Drake is not only well regarded for his hit-making ability, but also his bars. Well, that would be so, until the authenticity of his bars would be challenged by none other than zesty Meek Mill. Meek Mill, being known for bars himself, would call Drake out for not writing his raps. This would then be amplified by leaked proof that Drake was using a ghostwriter.
Oh, money, new women, gotta keep it balanced. The girl of your dreams to me is probably not a challenge.
Pray the real live forever, man. Pray the fakes get exposed.
Now this was a big
You know, the crazy thing is with Quentin Miller, this is the craziest thing I heard. How is it that Quentin Miller made all of these hits and he gets banned? It's like, and again, me, Quentin Miller, he probably doing something now, I don't know. But I'm just saying, I think it's messed up what happened to him. I think that's really messed up what happened to Quentin Miller. Like, really messed up.
deal. 'Cause not only is that a no-no in the hip-hop world, but it was verses off an album that was considered top-tier Drake. Many people would say this is their favorite album from Drake. We now also have even more leaks coming out that just double down on this.
Louis bags in exchange for body bags, yeah. I'm sick of these niggas. Sick of these niggas.
Louis bags in exchange for body bags. Yeah. I'm sick of these niggas. Hey, I'm sick of these bitches. Huh.
And it doesn't help when you're claiming that top spot of a genre built off writing your own stuff. Now this cut would definitely hurt Drake as it challenged his credibility. If you talk to hip-hop peers, this was the moment Drake was taken off the table completely, way before 2024.
Off the block.
It was only really due to Drake killing Meek and their beef that it didn't completely finish him.
Yeah, trigger fingers turn to Twitter fingers. Yeah, you getting body by a singing nigga.
But that was just tying off the
And the craziest thing is he didn't write that either. Like, he didn't write that either. Like, bro, oh my God.
because Drake being exposed would not end there. Drake would face fire after being exposed hiding a hidden child with an adult star, being exposed by none other than Pusha T. Now this news would just continue the attack on Drake's character. Like, okay, you steal people's culture, alright? You don't write your own raps, okay? But now you out here not claiming your child? Like, bruh, you're cooked, el dente. And you know damn well you was smashing shorty. Cause yeah.
You are silent in all black issues, Drake. You really are. You are really, really silent. I don't hear about anything. You don't stand for nothing. You don't say nothing about nothing. You don't. That's just what it is.
This would just be another cut into the man that Drake is. All right.
Bro, I think that hurt him just as much as the Adonis thing, but Drake's always been maneuvering through black issues. He's always been somehow making his way through Breonna Taylor, down to George Floyd, down to Ahmaud Arbery. Like, he's been making his way through without actually saying anything about none of this stuff. It's to me, it's pretty amazing how he got past all that and nobody challenged him on it. You know what I'm saying?
The man we perceive him to be. Drake's inability to muster a good enough response would lead many to believe this was his first monumental L.
And now I thought the thing about it that was ludicrous about the response was when he said, like, I took a loss, but really because I tapped out. It's a tap out loss is a loss. Whatever version you lose at the end of a UFC fight, you're not like, well, I didn't get knocked out. I tapped out. It's
a now is a now.
Now's a now.
So now he's taking damage, not only on the music front.
I understand why he said that, though. I understand that, though. That's actually pretty interesting that he would choose that way of saying it, but I understand why he said that. It's a L is a L, but going out, being knocked out is totally different from tapping out, because somebody could choke you and you tap out real quick. But being knocked out, yeah. I mean, it's still an L, though. I'm not trying to make excuses for him.
But also just in general life. As the story was beyond hip-hop, it became a smear on his celebrity, just as much as his rap cred. But the more publicity, the better, right? Well, that could be said when it comes to Drake's famous stimulus package, something he become known for. This was basically when Drake would drop features on smaller up-and-coming artists. Now, some would see this as doing these artists a favor or putting the younger generation on. But remember, the cuts have been made, his armor has been pierced. So haters' logic is Drake's not doing this to help, he's doing this to take their audience and just continue his vulture ways.
I never got a publishing check off of any Drake songs.
Wait. You never got a publishing check off of any Drake song?
No. I never got a single publishing check off any songs.
Like, if you ask a Drake hater, that logo should be a...
You see what I mean? This is what I mean by, this is the reason why the missteps he made is put him in this position. Stuff like that should have never happened. Stuff like that, people should already been paid, or you should make sure they got paid. If I was a big artist like that, I would have made sure all these people got paid. It wouldn't have been nothing. I'd have been like, look, he has to be paid. He has to be paid. Everybody has to be paid. Everybody. But again, this is what we're talking about.
Vulture, not an owl, but there's some weight to that idea, and his actions later would support that theory. Drake just using these fresh artists to steal their following and remain relevant, something that would cause yet again further damage to his legacy. Now, I'm not gonna dive too deep into this idea because I already made a whole video on it, so check that out. But Drake has pretty much did all he can to adapt the next gen of music. He changed his look and his style. Yeah, he's still wearing those f***ing Astro Boy feet. But what's worse about it is he's dumbed down his music as well to cater to these kids who think this is music. Now, the next part of Drake's destruction would involve a certain Compton rapper. And to be honest, this beef has been talked about so much, you've probably seen conspiracies on the daily. Like, I'm surprised a certain political event wasn't somehow part of Kendrick's elaborate plan that only Kendrick stans seem to know.
I understand what
as
you're
a fan, I would enjoy a Drake and Kendrick kind of sparring session.
Well, I'm sure you would.
Yeah, I would. I'm sorry. What do you want me to do? You want me to lie to you about this?
No, that's good. That's good. I understand it. I understand it. I never thought Kendrick, but there's a couple other people I thought would have called my name by now that I never did. But
oh, is that what you're waiting for, the name call?
I'm waiting for it.
I bet you expect me to say Kendrick was the final sword to Drake's head. But the truth is, Drake's health was already in the red. The cuts over the years have now over-encumbered Drake. A lot of people saw Kendrick as the underdog in this beef, but it's ironic, because Drake was the clear loser to be in this beef, no matter what, at least in the eyes of the public. Drake could have dropped anything, and it would have been met with dismissal, especially against an artist who's clear free.
I don't know about that. I think that a lot of people say Drake won the battle, even though he lost. So if Drake would have did better songs, it would have been an argument. Because people was more focused on Drake's hits. They wanted Drake to make hits. They didn't even care for the beef. They just wanted Drake to make hits. Kendrick, they wanted to rap. But people wanted Drake to make a hit so they can say, yeah, see, that's number one. It's better. It's better. So even if Drake made a hit and it was something like a small bar about Kendrick, they would have said he won the battle. Because that's what people were gauging this whole battle off of. Drake making hits, Kendrick making creative songs. And Kendrick did both, and Drake ain't even make a hit. He made all right songs, and he lost. He couldn't keep up. He tapped out.
Of any cuts whatsoever. Like, you don't really know much about Kendrick. He has a very private life. There's not much for you to call out on him. He's also been very calculated in his career. He's always made good moves. If anything, Kendrick was at a full health bar. It wasn't Kendrick himself that ended Drake, but actually Drake himself. Something that Kendrick actually says.
Fuck a rap battle. This a long life battle with yourself.
It was my favorite bar from him out of this whole beef. Kendrick really just pointed out the flaws that we've already been seeing. It was clear in daylight. At this point, all these cuts may have been self-inflicted, just as much as they were caused by others. Kendrick had to but blow air on Drake for him to fall. His past injuries to his character and his career would take the rest. Allegations of Drake being into young women and having another secret child, why not? Throw it in on the pile. Who cares if it's true, right? Let's be real, Drake's been acting weird towards women for years, so it doesn't help his case. People were more likely to believe anything just off that history. Drake's legacy is both something of brilliance and dude respect. He brought the game to where nobody else has. That's why you still hear Drake stand saying this beef means nothing, because he's still winning. He's still the bigger artist. He's still the numbers king. And they're right. Even with Kendrick's amazing run, but at the top of that hill is a man bleeding out, and it's a matter of time before that man falls.
Yeah, I know this video is a little bit old, so I'm sure I want to see actually his new video on this. I'm sure if he does a new one, but this was actually pretty good. Yeah, that was actually pretty good. So tell me what y'all think, man. I mean, it is a long life battle with itself. I think that Kendrick put a hex on Drake. I think Drake I actually think Drake is suffering much more in his career than he ever did. I think obviously Drake is still a big artist, but I also look at it from the point of view that as long as Kendrick is around, Drake is going to be always second now. That's just what it is. Kendrick is too interesting, and he got people hooked. You know what I'm saying? And then now with this stadium tour going on, yeah, it's going to be real bad for Drake for the next maybe 3-4 years. I actually think Drake should stop making music for a while and just go away for a while, then come back with some hits or some bangers or whatever you want to call it. But either way, thank y'all for joining me. I appreciate y'all. I'll see y'all on the next one, man. I'm out of here. Peace. Bye.